You're listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.
Before you sign anything in Korea's property market, 3 numbers just moved that changed the math for buyers. Seoul's average apartment price just crossed 1.6 billion won for the first time. The government just reversed course on its own tax hike for non-resident single homeowners after its approval rating cratered. Yeouido's priciest redevelopment complexes just saw listings drop by as much as 300 million won. And banks have already tripled their household loan restriction actions compared to last year. It's Monday, August 24th. Let's look at what's happening in Korea's property market. The ruling party and government are retreating from parts of this month's tax overhaul after a sharp drop in approval ratings, especially in Seoul. High-price redevelopment complexes are adjusting in real time to that tax uncertainty and to looming ownership transfer deadlines. At the same time, financial regulators are running one of the tightest household lending crackdowns in years, independent of the tax debate. Here's what the numbers show. Seoul's average apartment price hit 1.61 billion won, about $1.15 million, up 1.14% from last month. Gangnam's 11 districts averaged 1.99 billion won, nearing the 2 billion won mark, while Gangguk's median crossed 1 billion won, or about $715,000 for the first time. The government's proposed tax U-turn would raise the non-resident deduction ceiling from 900 million won, about $643,000, back toward 1.4 billion won, about $1 million, exempting owners of apartments worth up to 2 billion won from the wealth tax. Yeouido listings jumped 17.9% since the tax plan's announcement, far outpacing Seoul's citywide 9.5% and Gangnam's 13.4%, as owners rushed to sell before September's reconstruction deadline. Banks filed 79 household loan restriction actions through August 12th, nearly triple last year's 29, with 72% of this year's curbs packed into June and July alone. Seoul's mayor proposed the 393,000 square meter Tancheon water treatment site as a Yongsan Park alternative that could yield more than 5,000 new housing units, though no final decision has been made. So what does this mean for buyers weighing a purchase this year? Earlier, we said the government reversed its tax hike after approval ratings collapsed. Here's what that actually means for you. Policy risk on non-resident and high-value ownership just eased, but the final deduction ceiling is still being negotiated, so don't treat today's numbers as final. If you're watching Yeouido or Gangnam Redevelopment, discounted listings are showing up now, but agents say the drop reflects urgency ahead of September's ownership transfer deadline, rather than a broad price correction. And if you're relying on financing, banks tightening quotas mid-year rather than in the usual fourth quarter means approval timelines could be less predictable than in past years. 3 things to watch. The finalized non-resident deduction ceiling, expected once the ruling party and government confirm details in the coming weeks. September's reconstruction approval deadlines at Yeouido's Sambu and Sujong complexes, the trigger behind this month's discounted listings, and whether the Tancheon site formally enters supply talks alongside Yongsan Park. That's today's AI Prism, Real Estate. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI Prism is a Won Ifra award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.
You've been listening to AI Prism from Seoul Economic Daily.